Alright, welcome to all of you. This is FMGE June 2021 recent paper conducted, recall paper of psychiatry. This time there were 8 questions that have been recalled by students related to psychiatry. So I will be discussing one by one. Okay, let us start with the first question. A middle-aged person with symptoms of anxiety and loneliness was diagnosed with depression. So diagnosis is already told. Prescribed with a medication which is a serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor. You must be knowing that when we speak about neurotransmitter in depression, there is trimonoamine depletion. 3 monoamines are depleted. Those are serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine. All 3 neurotransmitters are reduced. So serotonin, norepinephrine and dopamine, all 3 neurotransmitters are reduced. So the mechanism of action of antidepressant, the neurotransmitter being released in the synaptic cleft, unused neurotransmitter being reuptake. The mechanism of action of antidepressant is reuptake inhibition. If you inhibit the reuptake, it makes more neurotransmitter available. So we can do a different reuptakes inhibition. Only serotonin, SSRI, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Serotonin plus norepinephrine, SNRI. Norepinephrine plus dopamine, NDRI. So SSRI means selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. SNRI means serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor, norepinephrine dopamine reuptake inhibitor. So they have asked us to identify SNRI. It includes venlafaxine, desvenlafaxine, duloxetine and milnacipran. Milnacipran is not available nowadays, so that's why we don't consider. We are using venlafaxine, desvenlafaxine, duloxetine, SNRI. SSRI are paroxetine, sertraline, citalopram, escitalopram, fluoxetine, fluvoxamine, and dapaxetine. All the Zatine group belong to SSRI, but duloxetine belong to SNRI. The answer of our question is venlafaxine. Fluoxetine is SSRI, venlafaxine is SNRI, citalopram is SSRI, phenelzine is MAO inhibitors. To complete the list, NDRI includes bupropion. An MCQ for you, it is used for smoking cessation. Already asked in the exam. So I want all of you to remember this about the drugs. Okay, this about the drugs. I'm once again telling SSRI only serotonin. Serotonin is 5-HT. SNRI serotonin and norepinephrine. NDRI, norepinephrine, and dopamine. Okay, so you must remember this. Please make a chart and in this side write examples of the drugs included. If you remember these three groups of drug as antidepressant, it will help you in your further exams. A 28-year-old mother was diagnosed with mild depression and she has a 3-month-old child. First of all, you must be knowing 3-month-old child is probably lactating. Probably. Even if not, the guideline says that mild depression, the first line treatment is psychotherapy alone. Moderate depression, we do psychotherapy plus pharmacotherapy. Pharmacotherapy is antidepressant. The psychotherapy of choice in depression is cognitive behavioral therapy. Now, in severe cases, especially with suicidal attempts, we give ECT. Only in severe cases with suicidal attempts we give ECT. Okay, so ECT is for severe depression with suicidal ideation or suicidal attempts. And yes, ECT is safe in lactation also. I'm talking about treatment of depression in a lactating woman only. Alright, CBT, CBT plus antidepressant and antidepressant alone, we will prefer CBT as the answer because they have already mentioned in the question mild depression. Ideally in depression, psychotherapy plus pharmacotherapy is better than only psychotherapy and only pharmacotherapy. But in mild depression, only psychotherapy is sufficient. And that's what the guideline is. Which of the following is not a symptom? Not. Okay, what is a panic attack? It is a acute exacerbation of anxiety. Suddenly you become anxious with a feeling of impending doom. Something bad, great and disastrous is going to happen. कुछ बड़ा, भयानक और खतरनाक होने वाला है. What can be most bad, great and disastrous event of your life? Death. So panic is a patient who presents a feeling of impending death with autonomic symptoms. Autonomic symptom related to the increase of norepinephrine, sweating, palpitation, tachycardia, tremors, hyperventilation, increased urinary frequency, etc. etc. So tremor, palpitation, sudden anxiety. Suicidal thought is not a part of panic attack. Suicidal thought is seen in depression, not in panic. Panic is a anxiety disorder. So panic attack is an anxiety disorder, acute exacerbation of anxiety, feeling of impending doom, something bad, great and disastrous is going to happen. Panic is a differential diagnosis of medical emergencies. This question has been asked in AIIMS exam. It is a differential diagnosis of medical emergency because the patient in panic presents like a feeling of impending dying. I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying. So you have to rule out medical emergencies to diagnose panic. So panic is diagnosis of exclusion. Please remember, panic is a diagnosis of exclusion. The differential diagnosis of panic, acute myocardial infarction, hypoglycemia, thyrotoxicosis, then acute bronchial asthma, pulmonary embolism, pheochromocytoma, and many more. So first rule out medical emergency, then you come to panic. Okay, this can be asked as a clinical question. It is a diagnosis of exclusion. Okay. Next question, which of the following deficiencies is a reason of cognitive impairment in old age? Old age is mainly nutritional deficiency. The nutritional deficiency that lead to cognitive impairment. Do you know what is cognitive impairment? Cognitive impairment means mild cognitive impairment means it is a precursor of dementia. Dementia is a major neurocognitive disorder. For those who are not aware what cognitive means, cognition means higher mental functions and abilities. Your ability to read, write, comprehend, understand, all the higher mental function. It includes your orientation, attention, concentration, most importantly memory, because you only know about memory much, that dementia causes memory loss. Then abstract ability, calculation ability, reasoning and judgment, all these are cognitive functions. Okay, all these are cognitive function. Just like you have a tumor from benign to malignant, we have mild cognitive impairment to dementia. This is analogy. Cognitive impairment can be, like we say, age related cognitive decline. Some degree of cognitive decline is normal in old age. Okay, some degree of cognitive decline is normal in old age. For example, to test cognition, we do a scale called MMSE, Mini Mental Status Examination. It is used as a screening test for dementia, because we say less than 24 out of 30 is dementia, but 25 to 29 score in MMSE is age related cognitive decline. The cognitive function decline in old age. Okay, actually cognitive function decline with age. So up to this we call it as normal. Beyond this we call it as dementia. So up to 24, if your cognitive function decline as your age advances, is okay. Below this is dementia. Cognition means higher mental functions. And in old age, one of the very famous nutritional causes of dementia, that too more common among people who are vegetarians, is B12 deficiency. B12 deficiency is a known cause of Reversible dementia. Because if the person has reversible dementia, you can give B12 and the dementia can be reversed. You can give B12 and the dementia can be reversed. Please remember, even B1 can cause cognitive impairment, but that's related to alcoholics. There is a further question on that. But in old age, when they've specifically mentioned, then we have to think of the nutritional causes, that's B12. B12. Please remember this word, cognitive impairment. Cognitive impairment. It is the precursor of dementia. Dementia is a major neurocognitive disorder. MCI, mild cognitive impairment. A chronic alcoholic suddenly withdrew his alcohol consumption. So when you suddenly withdraw, you get tremors, global confusion, ataxia. Now, in a chronic alcoholic, when he has withdrawal, he gets tremors. Those tremors are managed on benzodiazepines. But when he get withdrawal, it may precipitate acute Wernicke's encephalopathy. And what are the signs of Wernicke in this particular question? The patient has global confusion and ataxia. The Wernicke's encephalopathy includes global confusion, thalmoplegia plus ataxia. So the patient here has global confusion, also has ataxia. So he is getting precipitated Wernicke's. But for Wernicke's, we need to give immediate thiamine because it is caused by thiamine deficiency. So we need to give thiamine 100 microgram IM or IV immediately, because otherwise the patient will land up in more severe compensated Wernicke's and maybe a risk to his life. Okay. So benzodiazepine is for the treatment of withdrawal phase for the tremors. Actually, ideally, I tell you what do? We give benzodiazepine plus thiamine, because thiamine is given as a prophylaxis to prevent Wernicke's. But once Wernicke has already happened, then the treatment has to be thiamine. In this question, the best answer would have been thiamine plus benzodiazepine. But out of the two, we need to choose thiamine. Most common symptom of alcohol withdrawal. All these are symptoms of alcohol withdrawal. Actually, alcohol is a CNS depressant. So alcohol withdrawal is a condition of CNS stimulation. So when brain becomes stimulated, you get tremors, autonomic hyperactivity, tachycardia, alcoholic paranoia. You also get seizures, and when brain goes in failure, you also get delirium tremens. But the first most common symptom of alcohol withdrawal, first symptom, key symptom, most common symptom of alcohol withdrawal is tremors. In AIMS exam, once upon a time they asked key symptom of alcohol withdrawal. It is tremors, key symptom. Alcohol causes two types of hallucinations. Alcohol can cause auditory hallucination in clear sensorium when the patient is not in disorientation. Alcohol causes visual hallucination in altered sensorium. This is known as alcoholic hallucinosis, and this is delirium tremens. So there should be no confusion. Alcohol causes auditory, visual both. Auditory in clear sensorium when the patient is not disoriented, and visual is altered sensorium when the patient is disoriented. The sequence of symptoms of alcohol withdrawal is tremors, then autonomic hyperactivity, tachycardia, increased BP, then alcoholic paranoia and hallucinosis, then comes seizures, GTCS, and finally delirium tremens. This is the sequence. That's why the first symptom of alcohol withdrawal is this, and delirium tremens usually starts 24 to 48 hours. This is 6 to 8 hours after the last drink. This is 8 to 12 hours after the last drink. This 12 to 24 hours after the last drink. Delirium sets after 24 hours of the last drink, usually on day 2 or day 3 of withdrawal. Alcohol withdrawal seizures are always GTCS. If they ask you overall drug of choice for alcohol withdrawal, it is benzodiazepine only, and we prefer chlordiazepoxide because this has longest T-half among all the benzodiazepine. Okay, that's why we prefer chlordiazepoxide. Alcohol is an important topic. When a pregnant mother was given lithium, I couldn't get the recall of the fourth option here, but I know Epstein anomaly is a famous lithium teratogenicity. What is Epstein anomaly? Atrialization of right ventricle. Atrialization of right ventricle, it's cardiomegaly, tricuspid valve abnormalities. It is teratogenicity of lithium, to be very, very specific. Valproate teratogenicity causes neural tube defect. But I must tell you, valproate is more teratogenic than lithium. The incidence of NTD, neural tube defect with valproate, although the people say that it can be prevented by giving folic acid, but the incidence of NTD with valproate is more than the incidence of Epstein with lithium. Last but not the least question, a patient was admitted with tachycardia, arrhythmia, scratch marks on the skin. Scratch marks on the skin suggest tactile hallucinations, and tactile hallucinations are very, very particular of cocaine. Moreover, tachycardia and arrhythmia due to the increase of norepinephrine again is caused by cocaine only. Heroin doesn't cause scratch marks on the skin, nor does cannabis, and nor does alcohol. Alcohol very rarely causes tactile hallucination, that too in the withdrawal phase. Heroin is a non-hallucinatory drug. They don't produce hallucination. Cannabis can sometimes produce cannabis-induced psychotic disorders, but they don't manifest with tachycardia and arrhythmia. Over the last few days, cocaine intoxication has been asked in many exams. This is from Kaplan, but it is also in the DAMS concept book Psychiatry. Okay, from Kaplan I have put up in concept book, and from concept book I am quoting. So this is cocaine intoxication, tachycardia is there, arrhythmias are there. So cocaine can cause tachycardia and arrhythmia, and cocaine is known to cause tactile hallucinations. So cocaine is very, very well known to cause then nasal septa perforation, nasal stuffiness. All these are cocaine related effects, and we do not have any specific drug related to cocaine de-addiction. So that is all for this particular paper discussion. If you have any queries, please get back to me to psychequeries@gmail.com. Thank you so much.